this is the start of it, man. This is what we wanted to do. This is what we talked about. We said, why aren't we walking together? Why aren't we talking about these things? It's a walking podcast, getting people motivated. We know that we want the freedom streakers to be motivated to get out too. And if we can't get out together, then what's the point of doing it? You know what I mean?
Yes, I love the enthusiasm. I'll say we're on day one. We'll see how this goes. We'll see if anybody can actually understand what we're saying.
Did it go robotic for a second?
I don't know if it does. I've heard a little bit of change. The tone sounds good. I can hear you. I can understand. I just know sometimes my headphones, I'll go a show and think, hey, this was great. And I'll listen to it. I'm like, man, my
Yeah.
headphones are terrible.
It's never gonna be perfect. Robbie, it's all
No,
about it's all about, I don't know. You know what I don't like? I don't always like the saying progress over perfection. I don't need to be perfect, but sometimes I'm like, I feel like we can do a little better than 1%. I think we can do a little bit better than just progress? So
we all want leaps and bounds, but yes, incremental improvement is a place that you could set what do you want to call it? Set your benchmark for.
yeah, for sure. Well, you let me know if video goes down, you check it on me, let me know. But hey, Robbie, this is what I wanted to talk about today. And I want to hear about what you might have in mind too. But I had two thoughts.
Okay.
Do you want to hear one? You want to hear them?
Hit me with thought one.
Okay. Now, you and I both work remotely. We're not really in an office with people. And so I think it definitely makes it an interesting uh, discussion. I think when people are back in the office. Now, interesting enough, I think what we're going to see a big, policy change on many things as this new administration, not getting deep in politics, just mentioning
Yep.
there's a lot of discussion about people going back into the office. And specifically, I think different government offices, I think they're looking to kind of like, also cut some of these numbers of people that are going to be in there, but they're
Right.
calling them back in the office. So a lot of people are going back into the office. So one thing in particular, and this is also going along the lines of whether you want to talk like the Maha movement or whatever. If you're not familiar with Cali, oh man, what am I doing? Cali Gaines, not Cali Gaines, his name. Anyway, there is basically this movement that is possibly going to be started about workplace wellness,
Right.
using HSA, FSA dollars, but basically walking together. So a big thing as I'm looking at my notes, I wrote some things down to make sure I can kind of stay on task. It's going to get loud over there. But workplace wellness programs are really embracing walking. And so I wanted to kind of talk about that, get your thoughts about it. And then the other thing I wanted to talk about is how that, walking in general, outside, we know this, how it really can help us combat depression. So, some really great things. People
Yep.
getting sad to go back in the office, but at the same time, I think it is, we can make the best of it.
Yeah, I think there's both sides of that coin. I have put lots of noodling time, lots of thought into the work from home versus the work from the office. I'm a 25-year veteran of working from home, remote sales for technology companies. It's been kind of the norm, right? You have a small little headquarters, you're a startup, and you have these guys that are planted around the country, and they do their own thing, and maybe they're teamed up. I think my company's got like 40 people in Texas, but we're all remote, and nobody is in vicinity of the other. So it won't change anything for people like me, people I work with, and people that I look up to that run inside sales organizations or an area where you need the opportunity to gain tribal knowledge, or however politically correct to say that you need to learn, where the bodies are buried. You need to learn, how business is done. And from what I've heard, to use the most scientific use of the word retarded, the workforce has been retarded in its ability to learn and be as efficient and effective because they're not together. And it takes, I mean, I don't know if you experience this, but for me, and even in a high-tech startup company, sometimes it takes days just to schedule a 5-minute call. You're back and forth and back and forth. And if you're in the office, as I've done, as I've changed industries, you just walk down to engineering and you grab a guy by the shoulder, and you can either beat him to death or you can take him to lunch and become his friend. But there's an ability to bring that camaraderie together. So I see, as I said, I see both sides of it. And I think it's going to be interesting to see where it goes. And to go back to the first point, I wasn't aware that walking and wellness programs were starting to embrace. I was literally trying to figure out how to, spearhead that at my own company. So if that's something out there, I'm going to try and do some more research. But yeah, I think that having the ability to, either have a walking club or, hey, we're going to sponsor some stuff to do things walking during the lunch hour or whatever you could do to sort of incite people or incent people to stay moving, and maybe do it together where they're having a conversation and moving. And that's, I think, where you're getting like the turbocharge of getting them back together.
Yeah, for sure. And I want to check my notes because I was taking this. I was trying to make sure I was looking at this. And guys, this is the first time I've not walked with my phone. First time I'm walking with my notes outside, making sure I don't get hit during a busy time of the city. So don't mind me if I am looking around, look a little lost,
This is super
possibly
cool.
worried.
It is super cool.
But it's what we wanted, right? You know what? Let's take a step back. I want to take a step back
Okay.
because
Tell me when to
look,
stop, because I'm going to get all the way back to the house.
no,
I was literally walking backwards. Go ahead. My humor's not working.
no, it is working. And then you say that it's not working, and then you tell me that you're off topic, and it's never the case. It's never the case. It's always perfect. You're right there. But what I wanted to get back
Self-deprecating
to,
humor is something that, yeah, go ahead.
oh,
Go ahead. Keep
self-deprecating
us on
humor. You're
track.
right. You're good. No, it's all good. What I wanted to make sure that I'm letting people know about is the reason we're doing this. The reason that we're walking right now. Robbie is an epic stepper, epic walker. Robbie's walked around the world in steps once already and is on his second lap right now. And he has a lot to share from all that he's experienced and all that he's learned during his walking. And, during this time, it is an education in itself as he's listening to podcasts and books and all that kind of stuff, right? So it's great. But the idea here is to show people, and Robbie has also, I'm going to say kindly, has put this under the umbrella of the VDads, if I can call it a brand, or the community, to help inspire other parents, dads, people to be walking as well during their busy day. If we can do it, you guys can do it too, right? If you
Exactly.
feel as if you can't, meet us, come with us, and we'd love to even have you on stream. Brofit. Brofit. Getting Brofit moving is not an issue. Brofit's always moving. He's a superhero. But for anyone that feels like they need a little bit of that motivation, hop on with us, right? If you feel like you can't move, hop on with us as you're not moving. See if we can get a couple steps in, maybe for 5 minutes. We want to be able to inspire those people, and Robbie is going to help you be that much more inspired and also educated with everything that he wants to share. Specifically, Robbie, and I'm almost done with my little pitch here. More specifically, Robbie has so much to share around his business insights, around health. I mean, how much have you really looked at in terms of overall health? You've listened to, you've learned, but also leading with love. I've been thinking about you a lot lately. With leading with love. I've had a goal. I'm working on a goal right now on X. I'm not leading with love all the time, but then you get in my head. And then I'm like, all right, pull yourself back, Ryan. So it's good. But I think what I'm saying is that I think a lot of us during our busy days, we think we can't walk. Maybe we think that we're falling into maybe a negative mindset, something challenging. Come here for some of that support. So that's what I want to do. That's my
No,
pitch for you, Robbie. That's my pitch for lap 2. By the way, lap 2, not second lap.
4 letters instead of a lot more. So we're good. No, I think you're right. And I think that finding an opportunity to get movement in your daily life, come on here and let's talk about it. Like we will help you to find, call them hacks to where, I'm a math guy. So 100 steps extra per day over a year is 37,000 steps extra in a year. That's a lot. I mean, that's a lot. So I think we've both struggled with the word accumulative,
It's
additive.
almost as hard as Worcester
It's
sauce.
worse. It's worse because everybody knows Worcestershire sauce is the bad one. So it all adds up. So just go out and do a little here. I think it's great. And as you know, if I'll lean into the daily dad, V dad side, I think every parent, wants their kids to be on the soccer team and has them in doing gymnastics and has all this other stuff and can either A, see you, as trying to think of what the guy's name, Archie Bunker in a Lazy Boy, as the guy telling you, hey, go out there and kick some ass. Well, Dad, why don't you get your butt out of the chair? Or, you could have grandkids that, where's Gramps? He's out walking. Oh, yeah. And my grandchildren, I'm very, very lucky, grateful, and fortunate. I'll say this out loud. They live a mile and a half away. So even with
I
sound
didn't know
canceling
that.
head, yeah, I have two that are a mile, like 1.2
Wow.
miles from the house. And so they drive around the town and I'm walking around the town. So my most exciting
Oh.
time is when I can, through sound cancellation, hear the horn and turn, and my grandkids are waving because they see me out walking.
Oh man, that's so cool.
So leading with love, leading with example.
Leading with love. Leading with example. Sometimes, I mean, I know that the leading with love idea, I feel like sometimes I think about it. My first thought is, okay, leading with love. Like we're showing kindness all the time, but I think leading with love is a lot more than that. So I think when you use it as leading with example, you are, right? You're teaching your kids how to love their body, how to love fitness, all those kind of things. So I love that. Um, all right, workplace wellness, um, purpose with walking. We're always hitting on this. This is necessary. Robbie, how much do you know about depression? Is this a topic that you know about? Is there a personal story here? I'm just bringing it up completely randomly, but let me know.
I would say I'm a 52-year-old man, and I'm having some of these conversations with some other folks in some of the communities I'm in where they want to talk about depression, feelings of suicide, things that are what I'm going to say. And I kind of chastised for saying this, but I'll say it even
Hmm.
again in recorded zone. But I think it's feelings of normality, meaning I feel almost anybody in given into a certain set of circumstances is going to have that. Well, would the world be better if I wasn't here? I just think that that's kind of a natural thing.
Hmm.
And so I think, anyways, I'm way off your subject. The back
Stop it.
to
You're right on this subject. You're talking directly about what we're talking about.
the, and I keep turning my camera sideways and back and forth. So I'm trying to figure out if it looks better, it's easier for people to
I'll,
see. So apologize
I'll
if
tell you
any,
this.
yeah.
It's better when it's landscape, but you do what's comfortable because we're here for the content. It doesn't have to be for the back end edits. You're all good.
Okay. Now I'm back to landscape. Um, I think, yes, I'm familiar with depression. I'm a human. I've experienced depression. I've been through divorce after being married for 23 and some change years and had, should I still be here kind of thoughts. So I feel and do think I have at least a little bit of empathy and understanding for that side of it. I do think that my experience, podcasts, books, internal talking to what I'll call elders or people that are older than me that are what I'll call more wise because they've had more bruises. Zone two, watch out for zone two. Um, that I think we were designed and around and created way before technology. Almost everything of technology is done to have eased or made our life more simple. And we are not simple machines. I think we are extremely complicated machines that are built to not get eaten by a dinosaur and be able to carry back a caribou over your shoulder, 50, I don't know, 500 yards to feed your family. I mean, I think there's a lot of that. And I think because we've got so much technology and it's so easy, I think that our brain does do things in mysterious ways. And then I think there's a whole another set of people that are, either chemically been altered or in some way. And so, yes, I believe in depression. I do.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, depression's a real thing. You know this, and I know that you're
Yeah.
not saying. I don't think that you're putting it up there as if it's a real thing or not.
Right. Right.
But I think what you're bringing up is the idea that are men maybe really struggling with it? I think that's kind of what it is. The reason I brought it up, Robbie, because I like to put the purpose behind the walking. And the reason is because, I know that you do it so easily, so seamlessly within your life right now. Um, why is someone else going to get up off the couch, right? Just because Robbie's doing it? No. The one thing about depression, and I mean, I've had, two close friends, I've had a serious discussion about depression uh, in the past hours. And so it's nothing that, whether it's diagnosed, whether it's clinical, whether it's just something that someone's feeling, um, I think it's definitely something that we have to understand. Like, you know what? If you're just feeling down in any way, can we just make sure we're taking care of it? And so the one thing that I want to make sure that we know is that when we're walking, there was a recent study in JAMA, the Journal of American Medicine.
Yep.
Get the whole thing. But the basically talking about 7,000 steps, which I think is important because when we're thinking about how someone can walk right now, this 30 minutes that we are just walking for a day. I mean, you correct me if I'm wrong. I think we're probably getting what, around 2,500 steps at least.
I was going to say 25 to 3,000, depends on the
Yeah,
pace, but yeah.
yeah. And so, why I want to bring that up because I always love the evidence. Lately, I've been hearing the evidence doesn't matter. And I want to just tell people what. But anyway, what I want
Chaos.
to say, it is chaos. It's just
We're living in
ridiculous.
chaos. That's the only way. When somebody says math doesn't matter anymore, it's like, okay, we've completely gone off the reservation. But
Yeah,
anyways,
totally.
I
Yeah.
digress.
That's all good. I'm going to read off my notes here. But at least 7,000 steps daily can reduce the risk of depression by 31%. Each additional 1,000 steps, right? Up to
Right.
10,000, right? So
Yep.
there's, I think within health and nutrition and all that kind of stuff, there's always diminishing returns. Which I think is a helpful thing because if we keep thinking that more is always better, I think we're going to lead ourselves into a really difficult position, right? It's not always just where are those thresholds? I love talking thresholds with people. What do you have to do at least? And if you want to do more, go ahead and do more. But just do this much at least,
Right.
right? Shout out to Habit 24. But the idea here is that for each additional 1,000 steps up to 10,000 decreases the risk of depression by 9%, right? So you
So
walk your
you're
first
doing
7,000,
31 plus 27. You're getting, what is that,
no,
58%?
30, no, 31 plus 9 for every 1,000 steps.
So if you did 10,000, 9 times 3 is
Oh,
27 plus
yeah,
31, 58. So you're getting about a
yeah.
60% chance of less depression by walking what they are arbitrarily saying is the amount you should walk every day.
Yeah, for sure. If I can, somewhat at an aside, I was just having this discussion with someone about now more like body composition and body fat loss focus. But I've found, and this is completely observational, but I work
Right.
with enough people and we've looked at this enough to actually see that it does something in health people. I am walking not in the direction I wanted to, by the way. That's okay. But um, 12,000 to 15,000 steps. I've been finding, I would say over the past year and a half now, I've been finding that
You made it.
that amount is going to usually mitigate the challenges of, say, a social eating environment, going out, business lunches, business dinners,
Okay.
holidays, right? And so I know that's above what we're talking about right now, but I think that that's another purpose. If we're putting purpose behind those steps. But yeah, I think that the idea here is, can we get someone to at least 7,000? We're just getting you started right now. 25,000, I'm sorry, 2,500 to 3,000, right now in this 30 minutes. So if someone's out there, we'd love for you to walk with us. If you feel like it, don't tell us you're going through something if you don't want to talk about it, but we'd love to help you, right? It's not just the idea of walking for body fat loss. It's not the idea
Right.
of just walking for the hell of walking. But if you are out there and you're listening right now, there's 25 of you right now listening to this. I love observers because I was always an observer. I would observe until I was ready to make a change. So observe until you need a change too. But if you feel like depression's definitely taken over, if you feel like even you don't even know what to call it, just like these feelings of loneliness and you're feeling down, walk with us. Come step up. Be on stream. Talk to us. Let us know.
And I'm a big and guy, Boolean math. And if you happen to want to save this, put it in your folder and put it so you can walk and listen to us 30 minutes, 2 hours from now, not live, or 2 days from now, we're okay with that too. We don't get any hurt feelings. Find the opportunity at your kids' soccer practice to walk the field and listen to Ryan and I talk. Find
Good
an
point.
opportunity to go to the grocery store for one item, but walk every aisle looking for one item, even though if you know where it's at, right? There's ways to hack and get your extra steps in. And to his point, depression, sitting around, your mind is a big computer. If you're just sitting there, you're going to think all the worst things. They say like 75% of the things you worry about never happen. I mean, it's just normal. And if you get up, you start walking around and you got to, not step on something and you got to be observant and other things, you're going to be out of your head and you're going to be okay. So come walk with us, even if it's later.
Totally. I've been, I would say, lucky enough to not have people very close to me. Obviously, knock on wood, that have not, I would say, suffered from depression in terms of it becoming something more than, needing to talk about it. And so, I
Right.
think it would be a great goal to make sure we can get there. All right, Robbie, my
Hey,
notes,
and I'm
they're all
all
over the
into mental
place.
health. Yeah, I was gonna say I'm
Yeah, what's
all
up?
into mental health. So I go to an annual deal where I sit down with a psychiatrist and talk about my life and what's going on and where I'm going. And I shared with him my walking goals. And I didn't tell you this so you could get excited, but I got like an A for just having my head on straight and kind of walking forward and not being in a bad place with certain things, but just being a realist. And I don't know. I give credit to walking to saving my life. So
I love that. That's a pretty big statement, by the way.
it is.
Scuba, Scuba, you are behind. You're behind the ball, bud. This is episode 11 of Lap 2. Episode 11. It's all just add-ons. We got so many things to highlight, so many people to work with. Um, what time is it, Robbie? I can't see the clock. Yeah. Oh, it's 23 minutes in. 24. Okay. We got like 6 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm getting used to this, not sitting at a desk and being able to run through my notes. That's okay. I'm working through it. It's all right. We're going right by the Empire State Building right now. If
Throw it
anyone
off.
cares, you want to look up?
Nice.
Um, that's it. I actually used to work in this area. Used to take the subway all the time. There's a lot of stress. A lot of stress.
I was gonna say, is it stress from just being around a whole bunch of people and the hive mentality? Is it stress from shit? I got too many junctions, planes, trains, and automobiles. So I'm traversing different transit styles. Imagine you're walking, train, things like that, or bus. Is it that, or what was time consumption? What would be the highest level of stress in a thing like that?
Well, let me first off let you know that the job I used to walk to or take the subway to here, there was a day. I walked into the office after weeks of strange feelings. Something was
Yeah.
off.
Yeah.
Um, and I picked up all of my stuff, put it in a box, and just left. Fast forward, maybe like 4 months,
Okay.
we found out that the owner had run off to Russia to for tax evasion. So there were these like signs. And I look back now, I'm like, man, so many red flags were there, right?
Right.
And it was like, you know, um, unpaid, unpaid bills. There's so many things
Yeah.
that were just happening. And I'm walking by the building right now, and it makes me think about it. This lady was just ran this practice, just not a good person. And you know what? Maybe that's unfair. I would say there was a lot of things in her life that were hard. So
Okay.
I'm setting the stage where I'm already walking to a pretty stressful environment,
Yep.
And also, if no one knows, working it was an insurance based practice that I was working in, and when you work in anything with an insurance based model, it feels like a cattle call every single day. It's just, and
Yes.
that's I work obviously with weight loss. I'm not That's not the reference I'm making,
No.
but it's more the fact that it's just like constantly people coming in and out the whole time, and so it's stressful. So but then you have to think about that New York mentality of like, okay, hop in, hop out. Okay, quick. Okay, there's not really as much connection, and it becomes really hard. And then that kind of like bleeds out. You kind of leave the building. Everyone's just rushing around. And this is what
Yep.
I'll say: it wasn't the stress of actually just moving around in the subway. New York City is a lonely city. And by that, what I mean is, if you don't have somewhere to go, you don't have something to do. Everyone around you does. And so no
Okay.
one cares about you. You become a number. And so all of a sudden, everyone is just passing each other. No one really cares about you. There's not caring about you as a human. You end up being, number 10,705. And
People stop
so
smiling at you?
whether 100%. And
Really?
so then it's, yeah. I mean, no one, it's not as if they're nefarious people. It's not. And this isn't New York City. I think it's anywhere. People just become, you know, in their own worlds, and it's tough.
Okay.
And then, I'm right here on 34th Street. This is where I used to work. I work at 31st now when I'm in the city, but it becomes something where, people do, um, people are looking for some kind of connection sometimes. People are looking to make sure that they are, you know, uh, become they want to be friendly, and it's
Right.
almost as if everyone is too busy to actually come together as like a community, but everyone starts to look for their own thing, and it's this individualistic mentality. It's a really strange feeling. I don't even know if I'm putting it together well, but I love New York City. I do. I also hate New York City. It's a love-hate relationship, but it is an interesting place. You have to set your feet. You got to find your spot for sure. So
Right. Oh, it's interesting. I've lived in different parts of the country and I have experienced different levels of people and personalities. And I think it is true. Most areas of the South, you're going to have the Southern hospitality. So it is surprising to me, even with all my walking, when I get somebody that I walk by and they won't, nod or wink or smile or acknowledge that I'm there. Most of the time we acknowledge each other. I do a lot of waving, when you walk 20 some thousand miles around your neighborhood, you're either a real weirdo or people start to remember who you are. And, I'm not telling anybody that doesn't know me anything different. I have tattoos. So it's not like I am very unique. And so people get to see me a lot and I wave. So I'm very friendly. I always want people to think of the tattooed stalker walking on the neighborhood as the guy that's always waved at everybody. So
Scuba says here, hashtag weirdos. By the way, X, don't use hashtags anymore. That's what we've been told.
really,
Aggressively by Elon. He said, stop using hashtags. It looks ugly, doesn't do anything. I was like, all right, all right.
bro, that's like marketing on the internet 101 is hashtags.
He turns it off though. It doesn't matter. You put a hashtag, he's banishing you to the
So if it
dark
says
place.
Gramps or it says hashtag Gramps, it doesn't matter.
Well, I mean, it's probably going to put you within your, I don't know what to call it, folder of hashtags, but I think it's
Okay.
just not going to get seen as much. I think it, actually Blaze would be a good person for this question. I know Blaze is always on top of this, but I think it would not get you as many impressions, which is something I'm working on right now, which is quite depressing and exciting all at the same time. My goodness.
I look at it as
Um,
cosmic amusement or comic amusement or however I'm supposed to say that. I see the things that you're responding to, and
stop looking at
I
my stop looking at
uh,
my replies.
the algorithm thinks that I turn on my device with popcorn, and that's what I want to see. I'm like, what is he talking about? He's like responding to an Arby's commercial, and he's talking about
Ugh.
shoes. It doesn't even make sense.
No, I found, I found what gets the most impressions, and I follow it, and I try and be first to come. It's a strategy. My goodness, it is.
Yeah.
But I think you end up getting into some dark places, and you got to pull yourself back out. It's good though. It's been good. Kowski right now has been my brother the past
Yeah,
couple of
yeah.
days, which has been good. Anyway, I don't want to get too deep into that, but it's there. I just figure if I'm an X, I'm gonna get paid for it. So let's make it happen. Um, oh wait, we're over time. I know that.
Okay. Okay.
Scuba, we'd love for you to come on. I love that Scuba's here in the chat. And but yeah, we are always looking to build our walking community, get those steps in, lower depression, right? We got 3,000 steps waiting for you as you talk with us, as you chat with us. You're not alone. We're all in together, so come on. But the one thing I can't get away from because I do love it, Robbie, give us at least one piece of gear that anyone walking needs to look a little more into or invest money into or get excited for. Ask for Christmas. What does someone have on their Christmas list if they want to walk more right now? Ooh, look at that. Look at that.
Get a Hydro Flask. We'll send you a VDAD sticker. The Hydro Flask for me, I'm not and I'm saying this as an old guy. I'm not a Greenpeace tree hugging. Don't use this kind of diaper, whatever. Yeah, I'm not a crazy person. I love water. I really don't love seeing 45 empty water bottles in a recycle bin in my front yard because I'm using plastic. So this is saved probably 10,000 cases of water bottles that I would have used if I hadn't. So it's great to have. You can replace the top. It's like, I think my third top. So it's a steel bottle top, and it will become your bumper. So you can put your bumper stickers on it, remind yourself why you're not driving a car, and it keeps things cold or hot because it's insulated. So that's my pitch. Hydro Flask for the win.
I like it. You know what we need? I think we need some of Lap2 logos sticker. I think we have to get some. They're way too easy to order. They're easy. So we
Yeah.
got to get them. You
Yep.
come on with us, you get a sticker for your bottle. I've actually always been a very big fan of Nalgene's. But lately, the best buy within the V Friends universe of all things IRL,
Yep.
physical product has been the water bottles. So I guess I'm not an Nalgene guy anymore. I don't even know what it is. I don't even know what those bottles are. Can't think of it,
Haven't seen them.
but it's been good. Yeah, I think you have seen them. You must have seen them. But
I must
anyway,
have seen them.
they're good. All right, guys. That's it. That's second lap. Next time, we know Scuba's going to be on with us. We're going to get Brofit on with us. We're going to get Blaze on with us. But our community, our walking community, it's coming. It's coming strong. All right, guys?
Thanks. Peace out.
Hi, guys. Take care.
Yeah.
Bye.